This is the journey of life, right? When we get to the stage of truth, the only way we can handle truth, the creative power of truth, is to be under the direct guidance of the voice of God. I'm going to say this again, which is why truth is revealed to us when we can handle it. This is why it's a calling. You are called, as Teresa said in the fourth mansion. You can't get here from there. You can't get there from here. You are called. The only way you can handle the power of a truth is to be called directly by God, by your name, however, because of its creative force in the world. Okay? That's it. So this journey, then in our first chakras, the only thing we can carry oh no, that's it. Sorry. Wow, sorry. I just caught it. Oh my God, of course. The only kind of information we can hold in here is spin and propaganda. If this is truth, okay, the way we water it down, and this is where, remember, I want you open, I want you firing on all 9 chakras. I want you firing. I want you to feel all 9 chakras opening up. I want you to have in you active issues that you could see on 9 chakras if you wanted, that are really ripping you to shreds inside. I want you in this with everything you've got, so that by the end of the weekend, if you, in the language of Teresa, have reptiles, you could let them out of your castle. I want you to have mysteries in you. What should I do with my life at this point? So that if you really were open to an extraordinary intervention, it could come in. It could. And if it doesn't, you get to say, what did I do? Because this is the altitude we're dealing with. So you are leaning back and you're saying, I am opening all 9. I'm open. So if you're blocking them, you feel the block. You're present. You are here. You're here. If you're wandering, you catch it. My fragment's going. If you start thinking, what, you're here. What? Get over here. You start realizing how fragmented you are. How easily distracted you are. Look at that. I'm distracted by everything. There's no reason for you to go wandering here, there, or nothing, or anything. What are you doing that for? This is where God wants you. You stay where you are. Stay where you're called. Stay where you're called. This is a mystical truth. If you were meant to be there, you would be there. Stay where you're called. You're called to be in this moment, in this moment. In this moment, in this moment. I mean that in 2 different ways. In this moment, you're called to be in this moment. Double. In this moment, you're called to be in this moment. The truth in our first chakra, and in this way, I want you to think of you as an hourglass, so that you see that the first chakra is like the bottom of a big old-fashioned skirt. This is where truth, a high jewel, like a diamond, is, think of it goes, and let me give you a great big huge truth. All is one. Here's the law of vibration, the law of sensation. Everything vibrates. Everything's alive. Everything has senses. Everything has senses. The law of sensation. The law of vibration, the law of sensation. You don't see that law, You're not even aware of that law, and you don't operate by that law. Otherwise, we would go, oops, excuse me. Okay? That law has not been animated in us. It's animated in Avatar, which is why I'm so thrilled that Jim has that movie. I want you to watch it through the law of sensation and the law of energy and the law of vibration, where you realize, oh my God, this forest is sensing me. I may not be sensing it because that law has not been animated. When you hear those scientists say, I wonder how these animals managed to escape that tsunami. Gee, are they intelligent? No, don't go that far. Don't use that word, because then we have to respect them. Keep that word out of the vocabulary. Don't go there. We can't use that high a level. Don't go there. Maybe they have, here's a word, instincts, but not yet intelligence. We are not ready to endow them, because it's up to us to endow them. We are the intelligence granters. They don't have it inherently, innately. No. It is up to we to endow them when we're ready to. This is the ego universe. This is the ego universe that can do whatever it wants as it wants. Up here, you see the truth of that, and it's animated. And you go, oh, God, what do we do? The pain of it goes, Teresa, right through your heart. And you think, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? Mayday, mayday, mayday. What do we do? Everything is alive. Oh my God, everything is alive. It senses everything. If the butterfly senses me, everything senses. Every single thing. The planets, everything knows I'm here. Oh my God, everything knows you're here. Everything. You can't hold that truth in you. Therefore, when that truth is ready to be animated, you are called. Because you can't hold that. You can't take that truth. Everything knows I'm here. And decide, this is a nice truth. I think I'll just turn it on. It is a fact until it takes you and stretches you like taffy through every galaxy. And then puts you back in your body. You cannot survive that awakening unless you are called to that awakening and escorted by God. You cannot survive it. You cannot survive it. You would be destroyed. You would implode. You would return here, and someone would say, where did you go? And unless you were escorted like Teresa, you would say, my mind couldn't go with. My eyes couldn't go with. My ears, I left them behind. I can't tell you where I went. I can't tell you. But a truth that great does not fit here. And so the truth that we're all one becomes something, and this is a mystical truth that the mystic gets but has to live with and contain. This is a truth like the Dalai Lama that the mystic gets. It's so grand, but you have to contain it rather than fight. You have to become a container rather than a fighter. Because you know, excuse me, I'm sorry, that at this level, the truth itself is your weapon and your comfort. The truth itself, containing it and holding it, is where you have to trust that there are forces greater than you that are holding this universe together. And that you are a container and a holder for these forces. And that a high truth exists on every one of these earth chakras now. And that truth is diluted to a speed and a density that every level can take. Follow? Follow. All the truth. Every one. Okay, we're going to take a truth and do this. I can do this with any single mystical truth follows this. I just got this. I think I will fall off the stage. Let's take let's take we could take all is one. We could take all is illusion. We could take the law of opposites. Any one of them. We could take any one of these. The law of vibration, action and reaction. I don't care, any of them. Let me explain how this works. The truth undergoes a transformation. This is the opposite route of what we're on. This is the opposite path. We reverse this. The truth undergoes a transformation into some denser form. When it gets to the Earth's grand sixth chakra, just like when it gets to your sixth, you shatter it into some form of what's true and truth. You negotiate it. It reaches a point of negotiation. So you separate the truth from what is true, and you begin the process of wheat from chaff. Right there. This is what is, I'm now going into what is in one is in the whole. What an individual does, the whole does. A society does, the whole world does. Are you following me? Okay? Because this is the place where you calculate the speed at which you want to understand and comprehend. And the speed at which you want this truth to alter your life. And remember, it's right here. Right here is where you do your calculations at micro speed. I'm going to give you an experience. You ask about someone, what's wrong here? News and your intuition says, I'm going to lose my job. This isn't right. Something is news you actually don't want to know, but you know. And it comes in at light speed. And you know it's the truth. My son's an addict. My daughter's a Martian. Whatever it is. But the fact is you really don't want to know it, but you know here's the operative word, truth. Comes in at light speed. Your husband's cheating on you, your wife's cheating on you. Now, remember my drawing with all the, can you forget it? It's my icon. Okay, let's say that all your threads, all your circuits went straight down and you didn't have anything leaking. And you got that energy and you went straight into matter and you said, oh, my partner's cheating on me. Okay. Go to the office. Hi, you're cheating on me. And I know that that's going to lead to a divorce. So that will be about 5 o'clock. So I'll tell you what. I'll have some come over, pack up. It's going to get there anyway. So why should we waste time? There's no point. This is where it's going. And why should we waste our years? It's no point. It's got to end up there anyway. So let's just get it over with. So 5 o'clock, I'll have your stuff on the street. That's it. Get the papers drawn up. We're done. It's going to end up there anyway. And that's the truth. A personal truth. Agreed? Agreed. Of course I'm agreed. I'm always right. This, no, you know it. You know it because it's a truth and you know it. But what you do here is you start disseminating it, cracking it into melting it, negotiating it, lacing it with deceit, myth, aka lies. Telling yourself, no, it's not true. Now, what you are actually doing in spiritual alchemy is you're taking light and you're contaminating it with time and matter. And you're doing a calculation in your head about how much earth time, in how much earth time do you want this truth to actually manifest the exit point in your life. Are you following me? What you're saying is, I actually want this truth to physically affect my life in about 5 years. So you make an agreement that you will, here's your choice. You make an agreement, 5th chakra, choice, your choice point, to live in the fog, 4th chakra. Here's your fog, your heart, to keep your heart in the fog for a certain length of time. And as a result, and in order to do that, come over here. Here's your physical world. These are the laws. Remember where we're going here. You are breaking one law of truth after another. You're living in a sea of betrayal, self-betrayal. Personal facts, 3rd chakra. There's no truth here. You operate in the 3rd chakra on personal facts, which makes law very difficult. This is personal law. It's the world as you see it. The world according to GARP. Your personal facts, we are none of us in the same room. This is an absolute, now this is a truth. This is why Buddha says it's an illusion. From where I'm sitting, I'm looking at a wall none of you see. From where I'm standing. None of you see the wall that I'm looking at. And I don't see the wall you're looking at. If we were to hold steady and not change the directions and describe the room we're in, nobody would know we're in the same room. Okay? But we're in the same room. So Buddha says, see what an illusion? You're not in the same room. Okay, so in order to maintain this speed, you have to twist personal facts. Now, this is really crucial to understand mystical truth. You can now, and stop me if you lose me, this is very important. You can now no longer have an open 3rd chakra. Because you're in the business of self-deceit now. And self-deceit becomes more important to you than truth. Because you've made that agreement with yourself. So when someone says to me, I can't understand why I'm under so much stress and I don't know what to do, and etc., I know that they've made a number of bargains, a number of choices. They say to me, nothing's moving in my life. I know they've made a number, they've put themselves on a number of timelines that are colliding. They can't move. I'm hitting a pause button here. Are you with me? Do I have to stop and ask a question here? Do you have to ask a question? You're with me? Yes, darling.
Why do we do that?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going on that track. I'm going on that. So much for you asking a question. So, aren't you glad I asked? Oh, well, it's my party. Anyway. We do that because we fear the speed of change and loss of control. And mostly we fear the actual speed of being in that kind of constant contact with truth and God. Because the expression of how we know God is through truth. Through truth. I know that's truth. I know that's truth. Through letting the soul and its laws come out. So that in the laws, through letting mystical law speak through us, for knowing we can't break the law anymore. We can't break the law of opposites.
Why is that frightening?
Because we live differently. We live differently. You can't break the law. Okay? It's so hard to not break the law. As my friend Stevie once said, turning honest limits your choices. Okay? You can't break the law. If you know what you know, this process of making other choices, you start being, if you know that all things are sensate, if you know the decisions you make have to encompass all things. If you know what you know, the definition of selfish becomes global instead of local. If you know what you know, are you with me? Everything goes, oh man, that's not fair. That's right, it's not. Deal with it. You shouldn't have asked, for what reason, God, was I born? Nobody asked you to ask that. Nobody told you to ask that. You thought it was for a job. Fooled you. Okay. You silly little, see what that'll teach you to be selfish. Which is why you asked it. That'll teach you. First you get the crap knocked out of you. Then you ask it again. Second is all about facts. Facts. Where's the shop and what kind of flour? This is facts. Facts. Second. Truth takes the form of facts here. Details. Maybe it's better to say details. Info. That's what. Info. Info details. Okay? Info details. But truth melts down in the first to propaganda and spin. Religion, business, banking, all lies. All lies. Everything in the first chakra is spin and propaganda because a tribe can't take truth. If you said to a tribe, Jesus was probably married and had sex with Mary Magdalene. Okay. If you said, you know, maybe this is a war that is so unjust that we should apologize to the Arab. Absolutely. No way can a tribe be reasoned with. No way at all. No way. It's all propaganda and spin. And the moment you get a truth down there, it converts into what some of the old the devil's weapon. The devil's weapon. The worst about everybody is believed. The worst about every other race, every other nationality, every other group of people, every other. This is where Carl Jung said in Nazi Germany, at the end, because we lack the reason and the wisdom to deal with what caused the evil. And a true seer realizes evil's a real force, a psychic, archetypal, dark side of spiritual force. Because they didn't dismantle it and say, where did it come from? What activates it in the human psyche? What makes us receptive hosts to that? What makes us want to kill? Because it wasn't just the Germans, it's human nature, and it landed there. He said, it will go somewhere else, and it has, and it's come here. We are the new hosts. Propaganda and spin. But we don't see it. But you have to look carefully. How do you look? We're a nation of freedom. We run on the policy, take away the rights of who? The gay. By taking away rights, we give rights. Find a whole people who are the enemy, the Muslims. People we know anything about. Watch how they work. Watch how it works. Slowly, slowly, slowly take away our rights. Shred our Constitution. Take away the rights. It's become violent. They have camps ready to go. Yeah. And what the most unbelievable becomes the absolute achievable. Okay, propaganda and spin. This is how it works. Okay. Shocking, eh? We'll leave that alone now. Okay, here, the laws of science under a mystical transformation become mystical laws. You see the mystical end of it. The law of energy goes from cause and effect to a mystical cause and effect. Okay, now watch. In science, you have, this is what happened to Albert Einstein. Okay, this is what happened to Edgar Mitchell when he was up in space. This is how great scientists become mystics. The laws that they study suddenly go from their head into their soul. They slip. They have a little slippage, a little leak. And they go from their head into the soul. And they realize the law of energy that they're studying, the law of cause and effect. Look, if I hit this, it goes as the distance of the amount of force that I put into it. Suddenly they realize the same thing is true for their thoughts. The same thing is true for their emotions. You will respond to the amount of emotional force I direct towards you. If I direct love towards you, you will respond to that. If I direct negativity towards you, you will respond to that. It's the same law. If I direct healing towards you, what is the difference? If my intention is love and healing, what is the difference? And why would I have to be in the same room with you? All of a sudden, let's go up here. That's not necessary. All of a sudden, what's true is as I go into the world of energy, what I'm taking out is the factor of geography, time. Time and space no longer become essential ingredients as we cross into this world and the world of energy law. Now, this is really, really, really great, big, huge. We're making a major transition. In this world, time and space is everything. These are laws of time and space. The law of the land. How long do you own this thing? Well, what does the contract say? The law of the land. How long are we married for? Life? Okay, law of the land. These are contract laws, physical laws, social laws, tribal laws. So what these have in common below your waist is their laws of time and space. As we move into the laws that Jesus and Buddha initiated, what we move into are laws that govern our inner world and not our outer world. They're laws governing an interior world as well as an outer. Here is collective tribal law. Now we begin individual law and individual conscience and consciousness. Now the word consciousness is introduced, whereas here the word was conscience. So the word conscience belongs here, and the word consciousness belongs here. See the difference? This is major and big league. This is religion, and this is spirituality. This is a mystical life, mystical consciousness. 3 different realms. But here, the law is based on you learning to manage how you regulate the behavior and activity of your heart, your choices, how you see life, and how these forces influence the physical world. So these are deeply inner truths, and the choices you make knowing these, and what are those truths? So let's go into those. The mind is, just for fun, just for fun. Just for fun. Let's do an exercise, just for fun. What are 3 things, write it down. What are 3 things, 3 ideas, 3 ideas that actually have authority over you, and you know there's no truth to it whatsoever, but these 3 notions about the world you live in that you absolutely, that have authority over you, and you know there's no truth to it whatsoever. That's perfect. Thank you, darling.
No problem.
Okay. One of the core beliefs, teachings in Buddhism revolves around all existence involves suffering. All existence involves suffering. The cause of suffering is craving. Craving is big. One of the things we crave are reasons for why things happen as they do. Craving is not just physical substance or stuff. We crave reasons, and we crave a reasonable life, logic, order. We suffer because we don't have that. We suffer because we want life to be the way it is. We suffer because we want reasons. We need reasons for why things are as they are. And it makes us suffer that we don't have reasons for that. How many of you are suffering, are really in anguish because you need reasons for why something is the way it is? Or just stressed over anything? What about something in yourself? What about something in yourself? Something maybe why I can't seem to change something about yourself. Do you have a craving for anything in yourself? Do you have cravings that you can't seem to control? Do you have sadnesses? Do you have moods that are, what is the source of your suffering? Are you with me on this? What about changes? The whole, what Buddha is teaching is that suffering is about wanting life to be other than the way it is. What is it about your life that you want to be other than the way it is that causes you truly to lose your power? To make you in any way to lose, to hemorrhage? Does that help you with this question? Because this, well, let me ask you this way. How many of you are perfectly content? Perfectly content, perfectly happy, never distressed. Okay, so you can't have it both ways here. So what am I missing?
I mean, you deal with stress, but doesn't mean you deal with it.
Right, you deal with it. You deal with it. Buddha would say, what are the illusions that cause the stress? What are the illusions? What are the illusions that cause stress? See, Buddha would say, what are the illusions? What are the illusions that are causing you stress? Just something, what causes you to lose, to go back to this first column?
I think one of the things that I struggle with is thinking that I am aware of my weaknesses.
Thinking you're aware as opposed to being aware of them.
Well, I'm being aware of them until I get the reptile habit, and then I.
But Jerry, I think that we need a mic.
Well, I believe I'm aware of them, and I've worked hard on being aware of them. And all of a sudden, a situation shows up, a noble adversary, and I'm back to one. And it was interesting when you were talking before lunch about what law that a personal law that someone would trample on you, that will really wake you up. And I just recently had one of those with integrity. And they got me.
They had, in your mind, they didn't have the integrity you do.
No, they were questioning my integrity.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, has that happened with any of you where someone's questioned your ethics, your integrity? Okay, does that not slander you? It personally, it doesn't have to be publicly, but you feel like, whoa. Yeah, that happened to me.
and I have the warrior archetype. I didn't go for the jugular. I'm better. But I lost it. And it, for me, at the standard that I want to be at now, I lost it.
Okay.
You know, I got defensive and I got caught.
Okay, now here's what's true. Now this is a truth. This is the type of tiny micro truth that's not so micro. This is one of the biggest jewels I can give you on this point. Every single time, you can count on this, and every's a big word. And you can't pull every or never out in a workshop on mystical teachings unless you mean it. Okay? You could do it when you're telling people how you cook. Every and never, and nobody pays attention, but not in a class like this. Every single time you shift the slightest degree of light, you will be tested. Every single time you will be sent an adversary. Every single time. This is a form of the test of Jesus in the desert. Sell me your soul, says Satan. Okay, hit the pause button. Hit the pause button. All of the great teachers, but mostly I turn to Jesus and Buddha in a sense as the prototype of the greatest because they incarnated. And not that I don't have a great respect for Hinduism and the teachings and the wonderful stories and the Rig Veda and all those the great books, but these two accommodate the truth in a way that people relate to very comfortably. In the stories of their teachings, you'll discover that, and this is true in the Old Testament, when teachers are given a jewel of truth and it transforms them, within seconds, minutes, days, there's also sent an adversary or some adversarial situation. Just like with Moses and the Ten Commandments, he's given the great archetypal tablet, he comes down and everybody's worshiping a cow. It's one step forward, 12 steps back. But it's just like that. The moment you declare yourself healed from an addiction is the moment everyone asks you to go to the bar. Okay? It's always like that. Which is why one of the greatest truths is the more empowered you feel is the more invisible you must become. The least powerful person in the room is the loudest. The most powerful is the silent, the invisible. Fly under the radar. If you have to tell people you're a healer, you're not. You're not. And then go about the task of jumbling in the words, but it's not really me, it's not really me, it's not really me, and all this disclaimer after you've just said I am. Well, then what are you? Either you are or you're not. You're not ready even to talk about it. Listen to yourself. Go away. Okay. All illness involves, all stress existence involves suffering. What do you do with a truth like that? What you do is you take that and how many times have you not made a decision or followed guidance because you're afraid of suffering? Now there's a major league question. And every one of you had better say all the time. And this is the truth of the Buddha. I will not follow guidance and I will turn off my inner, and here's where you will do exactly what I just told you. You will take high-level light and deny that you heard it. You will deny that you heard clear guidance. And you will say, what? Excuse me, I'm deaf. And you will water it down. And you will say, I'm not sure. And then you will lower your head and say, I can't do that. And the reason you will give as though everybody should have sympathy for you is fear. Fear. But I'm afraid. Afraid of what? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And how many times have you done that? And the years of your life go by, and they go by, and you get older. Look in the mirror. You get older, older, and older, and older, and older. And what has changed? What has changed? Nothing's changed. And you keep asking for guidance, you keep getting guidance. So here's your question. Name 3 absolutely clear messages of guidance that you did not follow because of your fear of suffering, that it would cause you in some way to suffer. And the second part is how much suffering was involved because you didn't follow.